All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling a huge shift happening in our economy, a change that's rewriting the rules for what it means to be valuable at work, and more importantly, what you can do to build a career that lasts. For generations, this was pretty much the undisputed formula for success, right? Your value was all about how much you could stuff into your brain and then spit back out on a test. Your brain was the hard drive, and a great memory was basically your killer app. But here's the thing. That story has totally cracked. And it's cracked for one big reason, AI. Now that knowledge is everywhere and you can access it instantly, that old model of being a human encyclopedia, it's officially obsolete. The rules of the game have been completely rewritten. So how in the world do we navigate this new landscape? Well, here's our game plan for today. We're going to talk about why the old story is broken. Then we'll dive into what this judgment economy actually is. We'll look at the skills you need, and finally, how to build real momentum to lock in your value for the long haul. You see, the problem isn't getting information anymore. We're drowning in it. The real bottleneck, the truly scarce resource, is what we do with all that information, especially when things get messy, when the pressure's on, and the stakes are high. That's where human insight becomes the most valuable thing there is. So, yeah, this is the new reality we're all living in. Companies aren't just paying for what you know anymore. They're paying for how you apply it. They're investing in a specific set of uniquely human abilities that, honestly, AI just can't touch. Let's break down the first three foundational ones. Okay, first up, discernment. I mean, think about it. We are flooded with data, emails, opinions. It's just a wall of noise. Discernment is that superpower of finding the actual signal in all that noise. It's about spotting that one critical piece of information that changes the entire picture. All right, next up, we've got initiative. You know, you can tell an AI to do something and it'll do it, but it can't decide what problems are even worth solving in the first place. That's a human thing. Initiative is all about leaning in, asking the hard questions, and actually defining the work, not just waiting for a to-do list. And rounding out this core trio is adaptability. Look, things are going to go wrong. That's just a fact of life, right? Project goes sideways, the market does something crazy. Adaptability is how you handle that. It's your ability to adjust on the fly without losing your cool or your ethics. These three things, they are the core of judgment. So to really get a handle on how to build these skills, it's super helpful to think about our work on a kind of spectrum. The source material calls this the judgment gradient. I mean, let's be real. AI has made copying stuff so easy, it's practically free. So what does that mean for us? It means our value where we can actually contribute has moved way up the scale. It's no longer in reproducing, but in our ability to curate, to pick the best stuff, and to create something genuinely new. Okay, so that's the goal, right? To be great curators and creators. But how do we actually do that? Well, it all boils down to 5 core human skills that really power everything we just talked about. Think of them as your irreplaceable skills. Yep, 5 of them. And you can think of these as your personal toolkit, the gear you'll need to really thrive in this judgment economy. The source calls these the human 5 skills, and they're really the foundation of good judgment. Let's run through them real quick. First, there's taste. That's just knowing what's good, what has quality. Then, extreme agency. That's about taking total ownership, acting like you own the place, not just work there. Learning velocity is how fast you can take feedback and turn it into real improvement. Intent horizon, that's about seeing the long game, connecting what you're doing today to a big future goal. And finally, interruptibility. That's your resilience, your ability to stay on track, even when everything's on fire. These are what great employers are searching for. But here's a crucial point. It's not enough to just have these skills. You've got to be able to use them consistently over time. And that's where this idea of momentum comes into play. This slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at the left side, one-off performance. That's the old way, right? Cramming for an exam, pulling an all-nighter for one perfect project. Now look at the right, sustained momentum. That's the new game. The judgment economy doesn't care about your one great day. It rewards the consistent, trackable pattern of progress. It's the portfolio showing growth, not the one-hit wonder. All right, let's put all the pieces together now. What does this all look like in the real world? What are we actually aiming for here? It's all about becoming what the source calls a judgment-capable person. And what that really means is you're using these skills to build trust, not just to spit out information. It means you can read a room as well as you can read a report. You connect what you're doing every day to a bigger story that you actually care about. And really, this is the big shift in mindset we all need to make. The old question was, what level are you? It was static. But the new question, the much more powerful question is, what kind of communicator are you becoming? It's not just about what you know anymore. It's about who you are becoming as a thinker, a creator, and a problem solver. And that's a question worth thinking about.